Good morning. So yesterday I received in the mail the most beautiful piece of art that I've seen in a very long time. Let me show it to you. How about that? It's from my grandson. That's me, Poppa. And that's him. This is the most beautiful piece of art. I don't think we worried about how much the crayons cost. Or maybe those are markers. I don't think he worried about how much the paper cost. He wrote on the back, "Dear Papa, I hope you feel better." I wasn't sick, but I had a doctor appointment. It was just a checkup. Maybe he heard I was going to the doctor and he wanted to wish me well. It doesn't matter. So it's an important point to answer the question, why do I paint so many greeting cards? Why don't I paint large paintings? Well, I do paint large paintings, but the greeting cards seem to really hit people in a very positive way. So I was thinking about the card that I got from my grandson, and I was thinking about some of the comments that I see on Facebook and on social media, and the ones that kind of jump out at me are the ones that are from people who are discouraged or people who are not encouraged. Does that make sense? It's not the same thing. So I thought, well, what about a theme today where we discuss why? I mean, why? Why do these cards and then just give them away? Why isn't it about making money? Well, you can make money from them. I've demonstrated that a few times, I hope. You hear that siren outside right now? That's siren. Do you hear it? Somebody is in trouble. Somebody out there somewhere needs help. And sometimes a siren doesn't blare. Sometimes the help that somebody needs is encouragement. I don't mean to be too philosophical. This is about art, but art should do something. Today I want to show you how I painted this painting on a greeting card. And I'm just going to call it "Don't Give Up." Don't give up. Not because tomorrow you're going to be better at what you do, but because tomorrow. Because there is tomorrow. So don't give up. Go dance in the shallow water. Let the birds fly away as when they see you coming. The birds always fly away when they see me coming. Unless, of course, I have Pringles. The birds love Pringles. All right, let me show you how I did that painting. Good morning. How are you doing today? So today we're going to try to do the picture that I showed you in the intro. And if I get it right, hopefully it'll bring somebody a little bit of hope. I guess that's the theme today. Some hope. I'm looking, trying to find I have 3 reference photos I'm using to do this one. So, one of the things I wanted to say is that we so often get caught up in perfection, or what we think is perfection. And perfection is truly in the heart, right? All right, so let's try to get that right the lady in here first. We've got to keep her small. Keep her small. She's looking up. She's got her chin out. Just keep her small. I have a tendency to want to do things too big. She's got very small, little delicate fingers here. Just a little wisp of an arm there. Standing on the edge of the water, or in the water maybe. Right there, there should be some wet right there. I want to make her the birds play an important part in this picture too. Let's just try to get it all sketched in, then we can start painting it. It's actually a pretty basic, simple composition here. I think there'll be lots of birds. I think I'm just gonna wing the birds after. Wing the birds, get it? I think I'm just gonna wing them. I think I got the lady here, and then her reflection will be down here, of course. Make sure we don't forget the reflection. Okay. Well, let's do this. Start with a wet sky. Start with a wet sky. Just get it all wet. And in the beginning, I showed you the picture that made me think of doing this today. It was in the mail yesterday. My little grandson. I was only going to the doctor for a checkup, and it was nothing. But I guess when he heard that Papa was going to the doctor, he got concerned, and so he decided to send me a letter, a drawing that says, "I hope you feel better, Papa." And oh my gosh, that is the best piece of art I think I've seen in a long time. Like I told you in the beginning, that's what it's really about. And the other thing is, I was thinking about yesterday, I was reading some of the posts that people put online, and sometimes I think people get discouraged, and that's just the way we are. We are discouraged. Kind of a little bit too easy, don't you think? So I'm going to go ahead and put water right over her arms, but when it dries, I'll be able to paint them in. So I was thinking of that song, "Don't Give Up" by Peter Gabriel. Do you remember that song? Do you know that song? I'll read some of the words to you in just a little bit. All right, let me get this sunlight right here. There's the sun right there. Just keep it there and spread this orange color all over. In the video of Peter Gabriel's song, which I don't know when it came out, it's been a while, but in the video, you know, the female vocalist doing the optimistic part of that song is Kate Bush, and it is such a wonderful video. All they're doing in the video is holding each other. That's all they're doing, and it is so impactful. It is so beautiful. And I wonder if, like, somebody who might be a consultant or an advisor said to Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush, I wonder if they said, you got to do more than that. You got to do more than stand there holding each other. And because they're artists, they said, maybe, I'm just imagining this, maybe they said, no, that's all we have to do. All we have to do is stand there and hold each other. What do you think about that? It's true. I'm going to use a little bit of gouache because I don't have much yellow left in my watercolor. So all you have to do is hold each other. Isn't that a great statement right there? That's all you have to do. Just hold each other. Just comfort each other. Just tell each other, it's okay, we'll get through this. Whatever it is that's weighing on you. So, inspired by Peter Gabriel, inspired by my grandson, today's picture becomes the result of that. Now the bottom line here too has to be wet also. I have to wait. I have to wait for that to dry, otherwise it'll poke through. And then those birds are going to play an important role in this picture. So there's a clear combination of watercolor and gouache on this one. Just a little bit of gouache. I'm using the gouache as if it was watercolor, so I'm letting it spread just like watercolor does. Of course, gouache is watercolor in a way. I don't even know the composition or the makeup. That's kind of today's theme, is you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have the most expensive paints. I mean, look at what my grandson used, crayon and construction paper. You don't have to have the most expensive paper. You don't have to have that. It just has to come from within. All right, we'll let that dry because I think I want that to be a little bit darker over there. And now let's go ahead and add some color to the bottom, even though a lot of it's going to be changed after a while. Have to be careful not to cover up this white spot here. Just one column of white needs to be here. So let me get that orange out of the way. Whoa. There we go. Yeah, I think it's an important thing to remember. So you don't have to have the most expensive paper. You don't have to have the most expensive brushes. You know, except for the fact that it would seem like I was trying to be gimmicky, I've often thought about just using a Q-tip to paint. Do you know the artists that called themselves the Highwaymen? Those guys used the paintbrushes that they were using to paint houses. That's right, those guys were painting pictures, but using the same paint brushes. Probably the same paint, too, that they were using on the houses. So a lot of this is looking dark, but it's going to be light. It's going to be light. It's a contrast thing. Alright, we've got to let this dry. I'm just kind of spreading it all over the place here. Just keep that part yellow like that. So let that dry. So there's a couple of Bible verses I thought I would share with you. So my little grandson sent me a construction paper art in the Bible. I'm not a religious expert. I'm not a Bible scholar. I had to look these up. So here's what I found. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Isn't that an amazing quote, considering what we're talking about today? That's from the first book of Peter, chapter 4, verse 10. Let me read that again. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Wow, that is really true. So why do I do these little greeting cards? Why don't I just do some big gigantic paintings and hang them up in big gigantic places? Well, I've done some big ones, but I think as I got older, I think it occurred to me that the greater gift is that it's a gift. Does that make sense? And the other part of what I wanted to say today, in addition to your gift, is also don't give up. And that's why I used Peter Gabriel's song. I'm letting this dry. It's getting there. Right now, if I started to paint in the girl, it would be spreading, I think. It's still too wet right around her. So let me find the words. Now, Peter Gabriel's song is Don't Give Up, and the song, I believe, is about going through hard times when you cannot find employment. One line that nails it home, that's what that's about, is, he says, let me find that one line. For every job, so many men no one needs. That's one of the, or two of the lines. And he's feeling in the song. It's a beautiful song. I just love the way it is. And he's feeling like he's not wanted, he's not needed. his skills aren't necessary. His talents aren't valuable. And then the female part, the part that Kate Bush sings, and I've seen other female singers with him on stage singing this part, but Kate Bush just blows it away. And she sings this. She sings, "Don't give up. You still have us. Don't give up. We don't need much of anything. Don't give up, 'cause somewhere there's a place where we belong." Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is just really wonderful. All right, I think it's dry enough now. I'm going to use... I think I'm going to use the dark blue. Let's see if this works. I just want this to be a silhouette of the girl. I may end up making it a different color. Yeah, I already see that I want a different color. Let me see if purple will work. Maybe purple will work. Darken it. Okay. So this is a silhouette of the woman. Let me make sure I get her chin right. Her hair flying in the breeze, in the wind. Take my time on this one. I'm gonna make sure it looks perfect. She got these little delicate fingers here. I think the head and the neck are so important on this one. It's almost like the girl in the Titanic. Remember when she stood with the guy and they stood on top of the boat? Not on top of the boat, on top of the bow, right? Is that the front or is that the back? I don't know. At the front of the boat. And they were king of the world or whatever they said in that movie. I know you know it. I messed it up, I think, by telling it to you that way, but you know what I meant. Let's try to get this girl. Probably have to go over it a second time, but the first time is important because that's when we lay it all down. As long as we don't let the water do what water does. On this part has to be, I think, has to be right. It's going to be hard to fix it if I mess up. Now I got the song in my head from Peter Gabriel. There's another part where she says, "You worry too much." Rest your head. You worry too much. It's going to be all right. When times get rough, you can fall back on us. Don't give up. Please, don't give up. I hope that reaches somebody. Just keep adding some paint to this. I want it to be kind of really dark. I think I abandoned the idea of it being purple. I think just black is good. I know. You're not supposed to use black. That's okay. You're not supposed to use construction paper either, are you? Or crayons. It's the most beautiful thing. Man, touched me so much. Big children don't know how much they mean to us. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do. I like this pose. So I am using a reference photo for the pose. But the whole composition is kind of a collaborative thought, I guess. She's standing in the water, and some of her image is going to be reflected in the water below her. So we'll make sure we get some of that kind of just rough in there. And we want the edge of the water to also be dark. Now that it's dry, I can do that. Do that. That's very gentle too. Try to get that in there just right. This is kind of a precision one here. This is a precision one. And I see over there some of that whiter silhouette is going to need some touching up, but that's okay. Don't give up. Okay. I kind of like it already. Just want to make sure she's very silhouetted. Very silhouetted. Is silhouette a verb? Silhouetted. Okay. Now let's go back to the big brush, the larger brush. Let's take some of these darker colors. I'll start with purple just to kind of ease into what we want here. Get some of these oranges back in here. Put them up against the silhouette. I like the idea that the picture is like predominantly orange. Kind of a cool theme, I guess. Motif. There was another Bible verse I had. If I could find it, let's see. It says, "But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded." That is from the second book of Chronicles, verse 15, or chapter 15 rather, verse 7. I always mess up when I try to do the verse and chapter thing. I always get it wrong. Just get this reflection here. Let's darken the sky a little bit with some more orange and some more reds. Let's see how this works out. I'll start on the back of the card just to play it safe. Yeah, bring it down. And the lightest part has to be like right there. I think there are naysayers who will often discourage us from pursuing the things that we want to pursue. And I say I think they are. I know they are. I know there are. And you just have to keep doing what you do. You know, I think naysayers, I think that whole notion of people discouraging other people from doing things is a uniquely human thing. I don't think it's in the animal world. I don't think so. I don't think there's a beaver trying to build a dam who gets discouraged by another beaver telling him, "Oh, you're not good enough. You can't do a dam. You can't do it. You can't." It's kind of funny. You can't do a dam. But you know what I mean. In the animal world, there's not an eagle who says to the baby eagle, "Oh, you're never going to fly." That's so discouraging one another is a uniquely human thing. It's not a good thing. Now maybe there's a case to be made for sometimes discouragement is an act of love. You know, I think I've seen this in my lifetime. You know, let's say a kid wants to be a rock and roll star, and his father says, "You know, why don't you do that for hobby instead of for a job?" And the kid is adamant that he wants to be a rock and roll star. And there are many stories of rock and roll stars or actors or athletes who have gone through that, who have had that that story of being told you're not going to do it. But there are so many others. So I'm not saying you should listen to discouraging words. What I'm saying is that sometimes discouraging words are not meant to be discouraging, but rather meant to be loving. You know, you don't get any more stubborn than me. And so if I were younger and I was hearing discouraging words, I think I would just ignore them. But even if it was discouraging words from my father or my mother, people who were trying to steer me in the right direction, I would still be stubborn. I would still not listen. You know? Okay, you got some more orange to here. I think I like the way it's looking. I like the way it's looking. I do want to blur this out a little bit. Get that water in there. Just kind of spread it down a little bit. Don't give up. Alright, now we got to try to add those little birds in the sky. I like the idea of the birds just flying away. Alright, let's get that little brush. I think the birds should be just little wisps. Make sure it's on the dry. Just little wisps of birds. Here's one. Don't need much more than that. There's another one. Little birds. Little birds flying away. Just be careful not to put it on the wet area. I like going to the beach because of all the birds. There's so many birds at the beach. The birds kind of give a little bit of motion to the picture too, don't they? I didn't know that was going to happen, but I can see like a little bit of animation happening here. You know, in your mind, of course. I think that's all. I think that's all I'm going to do today. that. I don't want to mess it up anymore. You just spread this around on the back and then we'll call it done. So what shall we call this? What was today's theme? Don't give up, right? Spreading it out a little bit in here. Hope I'm not messing it up too much. I didn't need to do any of that. That was probably a mistake to do that, but that's okay. All right, let it dry and I'll fold it and I'll be right back. Okay, I think it's done. Let me fold it, and once it's folded, it becomes a card. There we go. There we go. There's our card for today. Don't give up is the theme. Don't give up. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.